Hello, my name is Tisha Marie. I am 25 years old. I was born in Detroit, Michigan. I lived there until I was around the age of 9 before my family decided to move to Nashville, Tennessee. That's where I spent most of my life. And I'm now located in South Florida. Living in Nashville was very different. I'll always have so much love for Nashville, but um, to have this chance to talk about some of the things that I went through means a lot to me. And I just want to kind of give people the insight of what I went through as a young African American woman. So, from a very young age, I experienced racism. I guess the first time I experienced it was maybe at the age of 9 when I moved to Tennessee from Detroit, Michigan. Um, whether it's from, my friends' parents openly telling me that they don't like people that look like me, or that I couldn't stay the night at their house because of this reason or that reason, or, just being treated differently. As a child, I really didn't see anything wrong with that, and I really didn't notice the type of environment that I was brought up in until I was an adult and I was able to process things and look at things from a different perspective. And yeah, it's crazy to think about how many things I went through that I just thought was normal that was just totally not okay. And I mean, overall, it was a great experience because I got the chance to learn about people that look differently than me and who grew up differently in different situations than I did. It was a great chance to experience diversity, but at the same time, in a negative way as well. The most memorable situation, I was 19 years old. I just started working at this pizza restaurant. It was brand new to the area. I was started off as a regular worker, went up to a shift lead, eventually a manager, then general manager. And experienced like sexual harassment, I guess you could say, from another manager. And when I brought that to corporate's attention, they weren't very happy with that. The guy who sexually abused me was an older white man. They didn't want him to get in trouble, I guess, or I'm not sure about that whole situation, but just at the end of the day, I got fired from my job because of me coming forward about abuse that I went through or harassment. And the next day, before I even showed up to work, I got a call saying that I had been terminated from my job. No reason. In the state of Tennessee, any employer can get rid of you with no reason. So, I mean, at the end of the day, I was just out of a job. Until 2 weeks later, I get a phone call from my mother saying that the police department's at our house looking for me. And to find out, I was being falsely accused of burglary and theft from that restaurant because I tried to come forward about sexual abuse. So I literally went through 2 years of going back and forth with the courts to prove my innocence. And at the end of the day, I proved my innocence, and I've never gotten an apology. I've never gotten a dime back for those 2 years of going back and forth with the court system, hiring a lawyer, all that stuff. So it's just like, and then I just have to accept that because, I mean, it happens. Like, people are allowed to say you did something with no proof. And, I mean, at the end of the day, either you have the money to fight them or you don't. It's just crazy to think that if I didn't have the money to fight them, I would have a felony on my record right now, or I would have to go to jail for something I didn't do. It's crazy at how we're, in the 2000s, 2021 actually, and it's just like still people are being falsely accused of things and not being helped because of the color of their skin. So that was a big downfall, a big break in my life where I had to, be strong enough to fight something and believe that good would happen, I guess you can say. The costs that I had to make to hire a lawyer to fight these court cases, and to remind you guys, whenever they filed this report against me, whether we went to court or not, I had a felony on my record. So I couldn't find a job the whole time I was fighting the case. So working was an option for me because I'm a felony. A felon. So, it was just pretty hard. So luckily my parents came together, and my lawyer was about $6,000 for the first meeting and the first court date. And honestly, I can't tell you guys exactly how much, but I'm pretty sure it was like $600 or $700 for every court hearing that my lawyer showed up to. So we went to court over 10 to 12 times. So yeah, if you guys add that together, I'm not sure how much. I guess you could say in all, I would say probably a good $10,000 to $15,000 I spent fighting this case. And the whole reasoning behind me not being able to get any of this money back after the case was, one, is because in the state of Tennessee, if an employer files a case against you after you are terminated, then they're not held responsible for any of the costs. If this would have happened while I was employed, then yeah, I would have got some of that back. But since I was not employed and they filed this report 2 weeks after they fired me, I was on my own with all costs and proving my innocence, unfortunately. Schooling, I guess in my younger ages, maybe middle school, early high school, I was actually bullied a lot. I was kind of like in the outside group. No one really talked to us. And I experienced a lot of bullying from the white boys in my class, as far as like them throwing things at me or calling me this name, that name. That's just something that was kind of normal to me as a kid. People would tell me, oh, he likes you, that's why he's doing that, or I don't know. It just was kind of weird to see people kind of blame people's hate and bullying and try to twist it around saying that that's their way of showing love.
Back then, would you believe it?
Yeah, back then I believed it. There was plenty of little white boys. I was like, oh, that's going to be my boyfriend one day. Like, he really likes me. He's throwing marshmallows at me in class because he likes me. It was just like, it's kind of like brainwashing in a way.
Who would tell you these things?
The teachers, the people I tell them on. It's just like, oh, he likes you. He means no harm. Or, for instance, the whole marshmallow situation actually happened my freshman year of high school. It was a pep rally, and the boy was sitting like 5 rows behind me, throwing marshmallows at my head. Him and all his friends were laughing, and then I got up and actually went up the stairs and beat him up, and that was the last time actually I got bullied. And it's crazy because I actually saw that guy like a year or two ago in public. He has like 3 kids now. He's just so, and I hate to talk political, but he's just like very pro-Trump and like against Black Lives Matter, and it all makes sense now from when I was a child. It's like, oh, well, they didn't hang out with this group of people because of this. Like, it's like hate is kind of learned and taught at a young age, and you can really see that within adults now, especially my generation. It's like a mix of us. It's like some of us are awoken and we want to see change, and we notice what's going wrong in the past and we want to change that. And some of us is just taught a certain way and we don't want to see differently. And that's a big downfall of our society and where we are today. And it kind of has paid my modeling career for me in a way, because I want to see that change within not only the modeling career, but in everyone in general.
So the group of friends you had at school you were hanging out with, what kind of group was that? You said they were outcasts, right?
Yeah, so before I joined sports teams and dance team and things like that, my group of friends were considered the nerds. We made all straight A's and B's all the time. We weren't trouble kids. The only difficulty I really had growing up was like my speech problems. I had a lot of speech problems, but besides that, I never got in trouble, was always a good kid. So, I really didn't have many friends until I started joining sports teams like basketball, softball, volleyball. That's when I began to make friends. I became popular, as you can say. And that's when I joined dance team junior year and senior year. And that was just kind of the, I guess, switch to my friendships. And honestly, I met a group of girls, 5 girls, it was 6 of us total, my junior year of high school, and we called ourselves best friends. I was the only African American a part of the group, which was kind of weird for me, like as an adult looking back at things, like, okay, like just pointing things out and just figuring out, like, yeah, that's kind of where our friendship went wrong, or like, why didn't I see this, and that? But my friend group was definitely different. We were kind of like the rebel group of kids at our school or in the county in general. Not the best kids. We have fun, but got a little wild at 15 and 16. But again, just like noticing the way my friends' parents would act when I was around, or the things they would say, was just kind of, it hurt me in the moment, but I also accepted it because I just thought, like, if I don't accept it, I won't have any friends. I mean, I'm put in this environment. I either have to make it or break it, if that makes sense. So it was definitely difficult as a kid to experience these things and to process it as a child. And I've never really been big on or known much about like mental health, but I definitely know that from what I experienced as a child, that has shaped me into the person I am today and helped me along the way. Just being brought down as a child and being told that I'm not as good as others was definitely bad in the moment, but at the same time, it taught me a lesson, for sure. Honestly, it's crazy, but I was probably around the age of 20, 21 when I realized that what I was accepting as my normal life wasn't right, or what I was accepting within others' behaviors when it comes to dealing with me wasn't right. I guess it was like right after my dad passed. After my dad passed, a lot of things opened up my mindset about life in general, and I just kind of forced myself to look at the bigger picture with things and to kind of put myself first and my feelings, and to honestly investigate and educate myself on what's really going on behind the scenes and why people feel the way they do. So, yeah, definitely around the age of 20 was my big break-in of awakening.
All right, so you started dating somewhere around that age, I imagine.
Yeah, I honestly didn't even think interracial dating was possible for me growing up as a kid, again, because like I just experienced all these situations, and it's just like, well, these guys never actually approached me in the correct way. So I mean, either they're gonna treat me wrong, or like it was just kind of a weird stage until I was an adult and could like handle those situations myself. But then again, at the same time, experiencing dating out of my race was just, it was like I was always making excuses for the person I was dating because of the way they were treating me. But then at the end of the day, realizing that if someone truly loves you or wants to be with you, they wouldn't treat you a certain way because of your race or because of how their family feels about people that look like you. It's just impossible to be able to have a connection or a relationship with anyone who thinks negatively about race in general, whether it's African American, Asian, Chinese, purple, green. Like, it's just, if they feel some type of way about someone that looks different than them, it's just never going to work.
Tell us one of these experiences when you, let's say, met the family of, I imagine you were dating white guys mostly, right?
Yeah, my first interracial relationship, he was actually mixed. He was half black, half white. And when I met his family, I actually overheard his aunt calling me the N-word. And it was just like, for people to say those things in front of you and not expect, they expect a bad reaction. And that's the reaction they want to have from you, because they want to paint this picture of you for the family or for anyone in general. So it's just like, for anyone to say those things to hurt you is just not good. And it's just, that was just like I thought I was in love with this guy, and it's just like, that was the breaking point within our relationship. It's just like, no matter how in love I am with someone, I can't accept disrespect from their family, because at the end of the day, you're supposed to count that as your family as well. And that just doesn't sit right with me. And then I guess we can talk about another situation. I was dating someone for a few years and flew to Ohio to meet his family. And this was during Trump's term, or right before Trump got in. And it was just like, they were questioning me about who I voted for, which, I mean, honestly, I'm not political, like I said, but at the end of the day, I will always stand against racism or mistreatment of women in general or children. And they were just asking me about like what I thought about him and how I could ever stand up for this, and that, Black Lives Matter. It's just like, when people bring those situations or conversations to you in a negative way, that's an automatic red flag. Like there's no change in their minds. There's no telling them your side of the story to try to understand where you're coming from. There's no understanding there because they were taught and programmed a certain thoughts in their head or, I guess, picture about certain people that they're never going to change their mind about. And that's what I explained to my ex. It's just like, you claim to see my side of things, but at the end of the day, you always stand behind your family before me. So it's different. Dating outside of my race, it's very difficult because you never know. You can be with someone for years and they can show you an amazing time, and then up out of nowhere one day, someone in their family or they may say something off the walls, and it's just like, wow. Like, so you really feel like this deep down. What else could you say? What else could you do? Like, can I even trust you? Like, will you kill me one day? Like, it's just like, you just can't trust anyone. And I mean, that's any race in general. It's not just saying like white men, but any man nowadays. You know, women are going missing every other day. But it's just, in the dating world, it's just kind of crazy how people's beliefs can interfere with the dating life.
Were you always aware of yourself as being good looking, or did that come later?
I've never really, as a child, I never really had confidence, honestly. I never really thought I was pretty. I never ever thought I would be a model. No way, Jose. Until, I guess, when I turned into an adult. I've always had siblings. My older brother, or my cousins have always been in like the music industry. So I tried singing for a while, and it's just like I was too shy for that. I didn't like the like one-on-one or one-on crowd attention from singing. So, I was also in dance team in high school. So that kind of introduced me into the performance world. I enjoyed being in front of big groups of crowds or whatever, but as long as I wasn't by myself. And then I graduated high school, and my mom actually did some modeling when she was younger. So I guess just trying to channel my inner, what do I want to be? What do I want to do? What can I accomplish? I knew I wanted to be in front of the camera, but how was the question. And then I just began not changing how I look, but improving how I felt about myself. Whether it was working out, eating better, learning how to do my makeup correctly, actually joining these modeling industries or agencies to improve my confidence within myself. I even hired a life coach, Hannah Summers, she's doing really great. She's doing she used to do one-on-one coaching, training, personal training, but now she's doing her own meal prep meal prep delivery company. She makes the food, delivers it in Nashville. She's amazing, but she actually helped me a lot in finding my confidence and building that up to help me be where I am now in life in general. So I would say my confidence honestly started in the middle of my modeling journey. I started modeling 6 years ago, and I could say maybe 2 years ago, maybe 3, I actually started showing confidence, and it's been great ever since.
And now you are yourself modeling
Yeah.
coach / life coach in a way,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, which is crazy because, like I said, when I first started modeling, I had no confidence. Like, you can look back to my pictures from 5 years ago, and it's just like, they're great pictures, but they're horrible. It's just like, there's no emotion in the picture. I'm posing weirdly, like my stomach's poking out, or like it's a weird angle. And it's just like, over the years, learning like what my good side is, like how I like pose in my body. And, like, it's just, I don't know. It's just different being confident with yourself and like showing that emotion within pictures. I can't. Yeah. So I'm definitely happy and confident within myself now. Yes, started my modeling career in Nashville. At the beginning, I was signed with John Casablancas, which is an agency out of Nashville. They taught me the ins and outs about like makeup, headshots. I did a few script readings with them. But it was just like a money thing. And I was young. I didn't have the money like that. I'm throwing $500, $1,000, $1,500 at them to train me. And it was just like, I wasn't getting gigs. I wasn't getting booked. It was just a kind of like just a learning experience for me. I tried, joining a few other agencies. It was the same thing. They just wanted my money. So I began just researching online, watching videos to help me out, joining these Facebook groups with photographers and models, asking to join shoots, TFP, trade for pics. And I honestly just started creating my own brand and my own schooling, if that makes sense, of building confidence and building your career, whether it's from making comp cards to networking with photographers, models, makeup artists, hair artists in your area. Honestly, when it comes to any business, whether it's yourself, a clothing line, makeup line, you have to be able to network and to be able to connect with other people. And honestly, that's the key to success. And that's the key to why I am where I am today. Just by getting out there and talking to people. I am very shy, but when it comes to business, it's just like, you got to make it happen.
How do you make that switch?
How did I make that switch? It honestly, it doesn't come easy. It takes a lot of money. When it came to me kind of making that switch, I had to kind of invest in myself, if that makes sense. I had to rent out these buildings or rent out these Airbnbs to attract the attention to me and my business, whether it's for photographers or models. People like to see what they're investing their time into, whether it's free or for $100, $200. People like to see what they're getting into. So I would rent out these nice Airbnbs with a pool or multiple levels, interesting artwork on the inside, and invite photographers out for free to shoot with the models that I'm training for my clothing brand. Was training for my clothing brand at the time. I've been modeling for 6 years. Last year, actually, around this time, it was probably last year, August, I came up with the idea to start my clothing line, Honeybee. I sell fitness sets, lingerie, and swimsuits for models in the industry. Just being in the modeling world, I would always shop for my wardrobe and couldn't find things that fit my body correctly, or couldn't find something that I can have as soon as possible. Like, you have to wait weeks for things to come all the way from China. So I came up with this idea to provide these items that models may need that they can't get immediately from any other companies. So that's how Honeybee started. And also, I had the thoughts of having brand ambassadors for my business. So as soon as I started the clothing line, I gathered 8 models. I told them, look, we're going to have these shoots once a month. I want you to come out. I'm going to help you pose. I'm going to help you, model this brand for my website that I'm creating. Not only am I helping you coach, not only am I coaching you to become a better model, but I'm also giving you that platform to potentially book gigs from my website and all coaching them and helping them succeed within the modeling industry. So that started last November. September, November-ish. Maybe it was like September, because I just had a year memory pop up from Honeybee starting. So after that, the girls wanted to expand our photo shoots because we're shooting in my friend Dan's studio with him and Carl, Busy Bee, for the first 3 or 4 shoots. And then they wanted to do like a different scenario. So I was like, hey, why don't I rent out this Airbnb? We all go here, invite a few photographers out to shoot. And from there, it just started booming. And honestly, my meetup and photo shoot, power shoot events are doing a lot better than my clothing line, which is okay with me. But it's just like the modeling industry lacks availability and opportunities for newer models or models who didn't come from the industry already. Most of the models that I ran into in Atlanta, LA, New York, their parents are wealthy and can pay these $1,000 to put them front line on a website for booking gigs, or can pay $1,000 to change their appearance without you knowing. Like, not all of us is like that. I came from the bottom. A lot of people say that, but really came from the bottom. Detroit, Nashville, now in Florida. And I didn't have money to just throw to these agencies. So being able to create this platform for myself and being able to be my own agent has really taught me a lot about the industry. And I just hope to spread that knowledge to others and expand my brand as well as help others expand as well. Can I take a break? Like a 2-second break?
Have some water.
I lost my train of thought.
So have you always been entrepreneurial?
I would like to think so. So as a child, I always thought I would be a police officer. That was like my goal growing up. Went to college for 2 years for criminal justice. Was going to be a homicide detective. That did not go well. I learned real quick that I was not like a bloody person or like dead bodies, or it was just not the field that I would actually be happy in. I was happy to investigate, but it's just like mentally, I was not prepared for that. After I switched my courses from criminal justice, I switched it to early childhood education, which would be basically like elementary school teaching. And I fell in love with teaching kids. In high school, I was a part of the early childhood education. Here I go. Early childhood education course, which I was teaching in the preschool there. So I had 2 years of preschool experience already, loved kids. So I decided, like, why not? Right as I was finishing up my degree, COVID hit, and my life was just a little stressful. I couldn't go to school virtually and nanny and doing my modeling career. And I was also managing at a Sonic restaurant. I just had a lot going on. So I was like, hey, I'm just going to take on my nanny career full time instead of seeking out schooling. Just being a teacher of 20 plus kids was kind of overwhelming to me to think about. So I turned my part-time gig into something I wanted to, take on full time. And it's honestly like the main part of my life, I guess you can say now. I've been nannying for the same amount of time I've been modeling, so 6 years now. I've had 5 families. I'm on my 6th family now. 10 kids. First family had 3, second family had 2, third family had, let me think, I get them mixed up, 3. Fourth family had 2, fifth family had 2. And I literally keep in contact with 5 of the 10 kids, which is amazing. Because when I go home to Nashville, I always set like a day out for my nanny kids. And I literally hop around to each house that day. And it's just like the best feeling ever. Just like knowing that I impacted these kids' lives at such a young age. Because most of my nanny kids were under 3, under 4. and them still remember like who I am, and for me to have like that impact on their life and have that connection with their parents is literally the best feeling ever. So I really take pride in my nanny career and what I do as a nanny and helping and creating these bonds with the families. So that's just, I guess, my second life. I have a few lives that I'm just a chaotic woman, I guess you can say, but wouldn't have it any other way.
And now you're nannying in South Florida, right?
Yes. I'm nannying in Boca right now for a family of four kids, mom and dad. And it's just, I've always wanted a lot of kids. And let me just say, it's not easy. Like, I could handle 3 kids easily. It was just like a juggling thing. But like 4 kids, now I'm starting to think like, should I hold off on the 6 kids or... But yeah, it's a lot of fun. 3 boys, 1 girl. So I'm definitely getting back in shape for sure. Chasing the boys around, playing sports, getting hit in the face with balls. These kids are fishes, but I did not know that when I first took them in their pool. And the 3-year-old girl goes underwater for like 10 seconds and I'm freaking out. Like I dive in the water and I'm like under the water holding her up, like choking. And then I come under, she's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Saving you." And she's like, "No, I can swim," and like goes under like a little dolphin. I'm like, oh, okay. So, it's just like different because back home, like pools, I guess, going to the lake was normal for me, but most kids back home didn't have like that training at 3 months old how to swim. Like, it's just so natural here. So it is a little bit more relaxing being able to like enjoy the beach and pools without having to like worry about which kid is where. But it's just definitely a change of life here. Different parenting, different atmosphere, different connection that I have with the kids. Back home, I kind of felt like the bad guy because I was coming in and dealing with like behavioral problems within kids and helping parents discipline. But here it's kind of more so of being like an extra hand, help around the house, that extra parent to get things done. And it's a big change for me because usually like I'm in charge of what's going on in the household. Like, I tell the parents what's going on, and now it's just like kind of more laid back, kind of more less duties that I have to do, which is fine, but just like it's fine because I have a lot going on. But I'm so used to like my brain going 24/7 and me always thinking about a solution to a problem that I think is kind of like not boring, but just like not my speed. So I'm sure my boss is going to see this. I love your family, but yeah, anyways, just change the subject. I'm just used to like being a household manager. I'm used to taking care of the kids, like groceries, laundry, errands, like, and I feel like I was even the housekeeper for my last family. So it's just I like being in control, if that makes sense. That's probably why I'm an entrepreneur. That's probably why I have a business. That's probably why I'm so great at being a coach and a mentor. Not saying that I'm always right, but I kind of analyze things before I decide on a solution and before I make an action, if that makes sense. So I have women that I coach that are 35, 40, and it's just like people ask them, like, how are you listening to a 25-year-old that barely knows anything? It's not about what I know, but how I handle situations, if that makes sense. And just my mindset and how much I invest in finding a solution that will be more so positive than negative.
So what's the biggest mistake new models make when they start out?
One thing models tend to misjudge, I could say, about the modeling industry is trusting photographers in general. And agencies too. I've had some bad experiences with agencies, photographers. It's just like, as a model, you need to investigate in a mentor. Like I can't, and I'm not just saying that because I want everyone to hire me. You can find any mentor out there, but literally find a mentor. Like whether it's through an agency or not, just find someone that can guide you, find someone that can look these photographers up, look these agencies up, and make sure there's no, negative sides to things. Because at the end of the day, whether it's through an agency or not, if you don't feel comfortable, you need to let someone know or remove yourself from the situation. A lot of models deal with things because the pay is good or because they have great connections with someone. And I learned real quick that you just can't do that. You're going to end up getting hurt, or it's just not going to be worth it. I've came across a lot of models that literally come to me about if they have a question about a photographer. They're like, hey, I saw that you shot with this person, or hey, do you know anything about this person? Which I love these messages. I get a million of them a day, but it's just always so hard for me to keep up with messages I receive on social media. So one thing that I provide for the models that hire me to be their coach or mentor, I provide a pro and a con list of photographers, whether I've personally experienced those photographers or if I heard a story about those photographers. If there's anything, it's kind of weird to say that I keep a list of bad photographers, but it's so important to stay safe before you put yourself in a situation. So this bad list of photographers, I literally get to my models and they have that list of people to watch out for, or there's groups out there that you can join that call out these photographers or businesses that are inappropriately treating women.
So what do they do? Are they perverts? What's going on with these bad photographers?
Yeah, most of them. So during the recent years, I've noticed a lot of these sites. I had one, what was it called? I don't know. It's kind of like the OnlyFans, but not. It was like a different name. These OnlyFans accounts, these sites that people are selling models' photos to, videos. They're basically selling these pictures without the models knowing, or like secretly taking pictures of the models in a changing room, or for instance, I had a situation with a photographer in Nashville where he was attempting to rub oil on my body. It's just, there's men out there that are photographers just to see women naked, or just to see women half clothed, or just to sneak a camera in this room so I can see her take her clothes off for 2 seconds. It's just, there's so many people out here for the wrong reasons, and they will literally, and also models, you have to look out for the photographers with a lot of followings. I don't care if he has 1 million followers. You can buy followers, and these photographers do that. They buy these followers, they buy their own magazines and make it seem like there's some top-notch Playboy magazine. No, like, stop joining these shoots and paying $500 to be featured in a Playboy magazine. That's fine, it's Playboy, but that's the one thing that's weird about nowadays. Playboy, you have to pay to be published in it. But anyways, back to the photographers. There's just so many creepy ones out there. I don't know. I don't know what they're doing with the pictures. I had one photographer I worked with 6 years ago who is now in jail for sexually assaulting a woman. So it's just like, you have to be careful. Like, there's real deal people out there that's looking and lurking for younger women, not even younger women in general, to hurt them, to sneak pictures of them, to degrade them. It's just, this industry is so dirty, and if you don't have the right mentor, you're going to be sucked into a trap. Whether it's personally in public or in person, or if it's online with them stealing your information. I had another photographer tried to connect our Google pictures together, and he literally tried to drain my whole phone camera roll. Like, luckily I don't take nude pictures, so I wasn't really concerned about it, but just think about if it was another girl who takes nude pictures and has all these private pictures in her phone that he just drained to his account. Like, it's just disgusting, and no telling where he's going to sell those pictures. So there's a lot of men out there lurking on younger women, and you just have to watch out for that, honestly, or get a mentor.
So percentage-wise, how many of them are perverts or just bad?
Overall, in the modeling industry, I would say that it's horrible, but at least 70% of the photographers and agencies are in it for the wrong reason, or have something that's secretly gone on, to something that you don't probably even know about. It's crazy. And I've even worked with some of the best photographers, but it's just like those comments that they make, or the message you receive at 2:00 in the morning saying, "Oh, I can't wait to shoot with your sexy ass." Like, just things like that. That is so normal in the industry. And it's just like, I've ran into models that's like, oh, that's just how he talks. No. Like, you can't talk to people like that. That's ridiculous. Like, you're literally sexually characterizing me and making me feel uncomfortable before we even meet in person. So usually in situations like that, I will probably respond to them like, hey, I think you're great. I'm so glad you wanted to work with me, but I'm sorry, we're not going to be able to work together. I like to stay professional. This, and that. And then there's photographers who jump to there's two different responses to that. There's going to be the photographers who are like, oh, you're weird, or you're this, and that because you don't want to shoot with me. I was just kidding, blah, blah, blah. No one's ever going to want to work with you. Those are photographers you need to get rid of, never work with. And then there's other photographers that are like, oh, I'm so sorry about that. That's kind of just how I talk. I would never talk to you like that again. You would like to reschedule. Let's do that. Those are the photographers I would give a second chance to, because people do talk differently. I am serious and I'm straightforward because of the things I went through in the past with men. So, and I do get judged about that a lot. Like, oh, you're a bitch, you're this, you're that. But it's for a reason, because I've been stepped on so many times or abused by men so many times that I don't have time for that, or for my models to go through that.
And are most of these photographers full-time or
Most of the creepy photographers are not full-time. There are people doing it part-time. They got a whole nother job on the side. They just do it part-time to get these images for whatever they're doing on the side. Most of the photographers I work with do it full-time. They have full-time jobs, whether it's shooting school pictures or sports for schools, which is also a good thing because they have inside connections within the industry, not just, I mostly do bikini modeling. So it's just like my photographers usually don't do anything with bikini modeling, but they have connections to video shoots or donut companies that need models, or random fitness events. Like, you have to, when it comes to networking, you have to network with people that are going to benefit you in the long run. Not even in a using way, because in any situation to where I am involved, there's always like a 50-50. So like, you're going to help me out and I'm helping you out as well. So yeah.
How does modeling compare in Tennessee versus here in South Florida?
Oh God. Modeling in Tennessee, it was just like, literally you walking towards the light while someone's pulling you back. Like, yes, you can do this, but we don't want you to do this. Like, you're great, but we don't want you to be the greatest. Like, it's just like it was a big competition thing, not even with models. Like, there's some models that hated me back home, but it's like the photographers are the main ones. The photographers that I didn't want to shoot with, the photographers that are out here having sex with every model they see, or out here touching and groping models. Those photographers I stay away from, and I let it be known when they contact me. No, I've had a few people come to me and tell me that you've done this inappropriate thing. And when you confront someone who's done something like that, you really can tell the type of person they are, because they're literally going to jump to the conclusion and be like, oh, well, you can't trust everything that someone says, but if you ever want to work with me, let me know. And it's just like, I would never work with someone who's sexually assaulted, sexually harassed, did anything inappropriate to anyone at a shoot. So it's just nuts. And honestly, the last 2 years, I've honestly been at like a climax point within my modeling career. And example, I would post my events in a modeling group, in a Nashville modeling group that I got banned from, because I was promoting myself. The owner of the group, the creator of the group, messaged me and said, hey, you can't promote yourself on here. That's why your posts are getting deleted. And I'm like, okay, well, it's a model and photographer group. So I'm confused at why I can't post the pictures that I've created to promote myself to book gigs when every other model's doing it. This one girl posted like a full nude set on there that he just was so in love with. But when it comes to, the post was for Black History Month. It was a post talking about me and everything I do and the change I want to see in the world. It was removed within seconds from that page. And that was like the breaking point for me. A lot of people tend to say that I'm like bipolar, which, I mean, I'll take that title any day. But when it comes to me standing up for myself and not standing up for myself, I don't think that has anything to do with me being bipolar. It has everything to do with me being a strong Black woman that's not going to take shit from anyone in this industry. So I confronted him about it. Hey, you're not letting me post this because it's about Black History Month. And from that message on, this guy posted a picture of me and every model in the group across the U.S. saying that I'm a toxic model and that they shouldn't allow me to be in their groups or gigs or this, and that. And literally that was like the life-changing moment for me in Nashville, because I felt like, honestly, I was very hated in Nashville at that moment. But then at the same time, that brought out the truth about me to everyone. All screenshots, he put our whole conversation on there and people were like, hey dude, like you deleted her Black History Month post. Like that says a lot. And he came to realize that like, hey, not everyone in Nashville is going to take sides with me. And that was just like the booming in my career. I got like, I don't know, 2,000 followers that month because he wanted to show his racism. And then I had a group of people who wanted to, you know, stand up for me and let me know that I wasn't alone and that, you know, people like this is going to get called out more often. And yeah, that's the modeling world in Nashville. Just like me succeeding with my businesses was not a happy time for anyone there. Well, most people, like the people that hire me to be their coach, the people that I had a personal relationship with, the people that I work with, people that personally know me, love me. But it's just like, when it comes to a Black woman succeeding in Nashville, Tennessee, in anything that she does, whether it's a restaurant, a clothing store, it's just, they don't want it to happen. And it's quite impossible unless you have the connections that's inside. And I didn't. So I decided to change the environment that I was offering my services in. And it was the best choice I've ever made. Leaving, Nashville is amazing. I will always love Nashville. I will always say that I am going to build my dream house in Nashville. But when it comes to succeeding in this industry, it's just so biased. And I would rather move somewhere that I'm accepted and wanted than to have to fight for than having to fight to prove my worth, if that makes sense. Yeah, I'm not in competition with anyone. So it's just like, I feel like Nashville is a big competition against myself, which is just weird. Yeah, I have a strong support system there, but, you know, sometimes the bad outweighs the good. And, I mean, I can't do anything about that, but...
Seems like you had your default was constantly you were working with a minus the whole time. You had to compensate and then some. Yeah,
for sure.
Just to be in the same line with everyone.
Yeah, for sure. Like, for instance, when I went back home last month, I joined a power shoot that was hosted by another model in Nashville. And out of 30 models, I was the only African-American model at this event. And that right there, I was more than happy to join the event just because it was in my city and I was coming home and, you know, wanting to see all the photographers I've worked with. One of my favorite photographers was there, Carl. I met Johnny there. I've always wanted to work with him. And a few other people. Katie, I worked with her before. I wanted to see her again. So being a part of that event was definitely an eye-opener. And it literally, it was like, I don't know how to say it. It was like an eye-opener of why I moved to Florida. It's just not diverse enough. For there to be millions of people in Nashville and for only one Black model to be invited, it's just like, why? And then if we just want to talk about this event in whole, it's like I had to beg photographers to work with me at this event.
So it seems like there is a love-hate relationship with Nashville.
Yeah, it's definitely like
there's a little bit of love. That's
yeah, like I love Nashville, but just like the people or like the vibe of the modeling industry. It's like everyone already knows each other and they want to keep each other in this square, but they don't want anyone else to succeed with them. For instance, there's like a group of girls who shoot with the same photographers all the time. The photographers pay them hundreds of dollars to shoot, but then these photographers on the Facebook group, like looking for TFP models. So you can't...
TFP? What does that mean?
Trade for pics.
How does that work? Explain.
So, okay, this is one thing I learned in the model industry. So there's a setup. Let's say model side, photographer side. Everyone starts at the top. Well, let's start at the bottom. Everyone starts at the bottom as new. And then as your experience builds, your price range builds of like how much you get paid. So usually new photographers look for experienced models to shoot. For instance, a lot of new photographers hit me up. That's why I work with newer photographers to kind of help them with like angles, lighting, and just kind of like helping them practice. They pay us because we're experienced and can help them succeed within their business, whether it's promoting or just helping them get that content that they need to boost their company or business. When it comes to new models, you want to shoot with professional photographers because they can help you with posing, lighting, all those good stuff. So like the opposite way. But when it comes to experienced photographers and experienced models, usually the photographer pays the model for whatever gig they're hiring them for. Or they do TFP, which means basically like we're at the same level. Let's do this for trade for pics so we can both benefit from this situation. For instance, I do that a lot with the companies down here in Florida because I'm new. No one really knows me. I have to kind of prove my worth to everyone here. So right now I'll take Brandon, for instance. He's literally my go-to guy. I love him. First photographer I met here. He makes amazing videos, pictures. We do TFP together because I think he's an amazing photographer. He just started off taking photos, but I think he's amazing. So I want to do TFP with him because I want to see him grow. I want to see him succeed. And at the same time, he believes in me and knows what I can do. So it's just like, it's all about who you are, the type of person you are. I know photographers that don't do TFPs, period. I know models that don't do TFPs, period. Back home, I didn't do TFPs. That's just because I knew my worth. I knew that most of these photographers didn't like me anyways. So why would I do a free shoot with them to help their business if they're not even going to promote me anyways? The whole promoting thing, if I shoot with a photographer, I want to promote them for at least a week straight. I always post into my story random pictures. It's all about the type of person you are in this industry and what you're able to do. There's models who giddy, laugh, just to use a photographer to get these photo shoots in and then never post or never tags a photographer. It's just about the type of person you are.
Are you on OnlyFans?
Never. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it, but if I was on OnlyFans, it would just be like my modeling pictures. Like last year, Patreon is what I started last year. Last year, I was getting bullied a lot in Nashville, so I stopped posting on Instagram for a while, created a Patreon, and had my followers buy, my pictures for $10.99 a month or whatever to see those pictures because I had girls copying my pictures and posting them on another page trying to sell them. It was just weird, so I just stopped posting on Instagram. But when it comes to OnlyFans, I would never have an OnlyFans account just because of what they stand for. When I first started my modeling career, I flew out to California for a gig, and the agency that flew me out was trying to talk me into prostitution, basically. And everything I see on OnlyFans and from these photographers who shoot OnlyFans, it's the same thing that I was seeing back then. Let me take a nude photo shoot of you. Let me see you nude. Oh, let me touch your body. Oh, let's go to the next step. Let me be in the video. Oh, I have a bunch of friends in the industry. Let's try. It's just like step by step. And it's like so many young women are turning to the porn industry. And so many young women think it's okay just to allow these photographers to guide you with your modeling career. And it's just, it's the new world nowadays. Everyone's on OnlyFans showing this and playing with this and doing their little sex tapes. But yeah, no, I would rather keep my modeling stuff professional. I want to take my modeling career places. I want to open my own schooling, hopefully next year, for models here in the South Florida area. myself or my businesses would never support just mistreatment of women like that. I don't know. I just kind of feel weird. But I do have friends, or not friends, but like associates that are in those industries. Or just because you don't agree with that doesn't mean that you can't be friends with people or like understand their journey. Yeah, go ahead. If porn stars want to be porn stars, go ahead. If you want to be a stripper, go ahead. That's your life. But when it comes to my modeling career and what I want to stand for and what my business is going to stand for and what I teach the models that I coach, that's not allowed. And I don't want my name to be, put in that category.
Do you remember how OnlyFans, when it came up, how it affected the modeling industry?
I mean, kind of, sort of. When it first came out, I was all for it. I was going to start one, like putting all my stuff on there, even doing some fitness stuff. But it's just like it turned for the worse. I'm not sure if you remember, what was like the prostitution site back in the day that was like Craigslist? I can't remember right now, but I'll remember soon. But it's like this old platform for prostitution got shut down like years ago. And I feel like it's just a new form of that. It's just, you can chat with these men. Half of these girls that I know that have OnlyFans, they meet up with their fans and do things. It's just so dangerous. It's like, you can't just meet up with random people online. You can't just put your body in harm's way like that. It just doesn't sit right with me. And I've been through a lot of stuff health-wise. So I guess that's kind of why I'm kind of like cautious about what I do when it comes to like, I don't even know. I mean, a lot of people say, oh, I don't have sex with anyone, any of my fans or like any of my photographers. It's okay. But yeah, I just don't have sex with anyone, especially my photographers. So yeah, it's strange.
So explain to me what's going on with these magazines, because like magazine business, as far as I see, is pretty much gone, right? It's almost gone.
It's non-existent, if you ask me. I have plenty of like cover pages and publications within magazines. They may not be Vogue, they may not be Glamour magazine, but they're replicable magazines. Like they are fashion magazines or like something that means something. But I mean, it's just a magazine that no one's really going to buy. But like I said earlier, models nowadays pay photographers $500 to $10,000 to be featured in Playboy, or there's another one starts with a G that everyone's paying for nowadays. I personally will never pay for a magazine submission. That's kind of cheating to me in a way in the modeling world. A lot of girls back home in Nashville do that. The last power shoot, I was telling you I was the only black model there. Most of the girls there paid $500 to get featured in off-brand Playboy magazine. And it's just like, they're like, you're not going to do it? I'm like, no, I get paid to be in magazines. It's just, it doesn't sit right with me having to pay to be in a magazine when you can be chosen to be paid to be put in a magazine if you actually work for it. Like,
that just means you don't deserve it.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's just like, I don't know. I want to like be like, oh, this person picked me, or like, oh, I'm getting $1,000 for this cover page, instead of, oh, I just spent $500 on getting in this magazine. Like, go me. Like, yeah, no. Everything I do, whether it's modeling or anything in my life, I think I kind of earned it. That's like a little treasure, or like it makes me feel better if I earn it myself. I've never really been handed anything, so. I don't know. I just want to make sure that my reputation, I guess you can say, is clean slate, and that, the truth comes out about me beforehand instead of later.
So these magazines, are they still for sale, or do they exist in digital form? Let's say the one you did quite recently.
Yeah.
If someone wanted to buy it, where can you even find it?
So most magazines are being sold on MagCloud nowadays, MAG Cloud. most of them are being sold like, you buy the hard copy and then you get the digital for free, or you can buy the digital for the same price of the hard copy. So usually whenever I buy the magazines that I'm featured in, I usually buy both, because you buy the print, you get the digital for free. That way I can see the digital ASAP, and then I get the print in the mail that I can put up with my other magazines. So it just depends. Most of these are digital because most people don't want the hard copy. Why would you? Also, nowadays, these magazines, like, the pictures aren't great. They're just picking random girls to pin the magazine that's half naked or look good, apparently. It's just the quality of magazines nowadays is just not there. It's like my vision of fashion is not the same as, a 50-year-old man's vision of fashion, if that makes sense. There's a lot of older people in charge of these magazines nowadays, and that's why the quality and the magazine business in general is just going down. It's just, there's no real originality or different about these magazines. It's just women, boobs, butt, and Botox. So, yeah, it's just so fake. But I'm honestly hoping, people say that I can't do it back home, but my ultimate goal is to put a change to the modeling world. Get models out there who are more normal, like myself. I'm one of the very few models who don't have any Botox, or didn't get my boobs or butt done, or, don't have all these. I saw this girl getting her butt sucked the other day to make her butt more plump, and I'm just like, what? It makes no sense. Like, I don't know. It's just, the new modeling world is not natural. That's all I gotta say. It's very fake, very plastic, very unnatural, and I just want to get it back to how it used to be back in the day when my mom modeled. It's all natural, different sizes. I train a lot of plus size models. I just want to give us girls who look a little different and out of the ordinary a chance to succeed in this industry the right way, without having to do porn, or without having to spend thousands and thousands of dollars before anything ever happens.
So how many of the models end up later in the porn industry? Maybe they don't succeed, or how many wannabe models end up feeling like that's the only way?
That's a good question. I feel like most models that end up turn into the porn industry instead of the modeling world, they were just led in the wrong way. Some of these girls really think modeling is porn, like, straight up. I have girls come up to me like, oh, I've been doing these type of shoots. Like, all you see is ass, titties, and OnlyFans on their page. And it's just like, where's your comp card? Like, where's your headshots? Where's, like, a runway video of you walking? And they're like, huh? I'm just like, but these photographers are training them to be models. They want them bending over on the bed. They want them doing this. It's just like, they are just getting the wrong outlook on the modeling world and think it's something that it's not. For instance, me, I'm a bikini model. I do a lot of risky photo shoots, but all of my risky photo shoots are very classy to me. Yes, I'm half naked, but like, my legs aren't spread open, or I'm just not in weird situations to where you're going to see my private parts. You can always be sexy, but it's just about how you carry yourself and the environment you're in. Like, I shoot these photos with photographers that I trust. Other girls may shoot them with someone random and then go missing. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's just like, some photographers are out there for the worst, and you just have to be careful once again.
How important is it to get a video along with the photos in the photo shoot?
How important it is to get, like, behind the scenes, like photos and videos from the shoot?
Not behind the scenes.
Like, that the photographer takes.
Yes, just the same way they make photos, they can make a short little videos and put together a little video reel, and then you can share it on stories. Of course, because it's a video, it's more dynamic, it's more attractive in certain mediums. Like on Instagram stories, that would be more effective than just a photo.
Yes.
How important is it to get a video along with the photos?
I think it's very important just because I'm comfortable in front of the camera, and videos to me just kind of shows my personality more and kind of shows like the vibe you'll get when you shoot with me. So that's another thing. A lot of photographers that I book with through social media, they see these videos on my story and they're like, oh, wow, she looks fun. She can move around easily. Like, they don't have to really train me much. So being able to get the video of you as well as the photo shoot is very important to me. But then again, there's photographers that don't know how to take the videos and who are at the level to where you kind of have to make them or like push them to like trust in themselves to make the videos. I mean, the first couple videos may be horrible, but eventually they're going to catch on and find that groove, and it's going to help them in the long run become better photographers because look, you just introduced them into videos and being able to catch videos as well as photos. They're really two different areas. There's a lot of photographers that can't take videos. They just don't get it, or they can't edit to like cut this, cut that. But where I am now with my modeling career, that's very important for me. I usually require that with any booking, at least a little behind the scenes that I can use in my stories. Yeah.
What advice would you give to photographers, starting photographers, perhaps someone who is new?
Okay, so for starting photographers, I would definitely say, also find a mentor. Not saying that I'm this person's mentor, but I met this guy named Zen that I had be a part of the power shoot that I held the other day. He's a new photographer and he doesn't know much, but he decided to join my event to get to know other people, not only network, but to get some, I guess you could say, lessons as well. There's this photographer there, Butch, who let him use his lights flash thingy. I'm not very good with the photography world, but you know what I'm talking about if you're a photographer. He let him use his little light flashy thing, and he saw the difference in his photos before and after. And he was also asking him little questions about this lens, that lens. It's just like whenever you have a group of people who are willing to see each other grow or want each other to grow, the outcome is endless. Or you just have to be willing to help others. I know nothing about the photography world, but like I told him, I can help you. Like I will get that help for you. I don't know who from, but just attend my events, and I promise you will learn so much more than what you knew before, if that makes sense. So definitely, if you're a new photographer, find another photographer that's been doing it for a while that has a great personality that is big here in Florida. Not many people have personalities, but that's really big for me because I make a connection with everyone that I work with, and I like keeping people that I meet in my life, if that makes sense. That's why I'm very selective on who I meet up with and who I work with. Find someone with a great personality that's going to help you, not physically, but like mentally. Someone that's going to program something in your brain, not just do it for you. I know I've met a lot of people that want to do things for me, and I'm like, no, I want you to teach me hands-on, or talk to me. Teach me. Yeah.
Go.
So when it comes to the modeling industry here in Florida versus mid-America, I guess you can say, there's definitely a lot of competition. Everyone looks different. Everyone has something different about them. But it's more dangerous, especially down here in Miami. For instance, when I first moved here, I was doing modeling full time. I thought that was just going to be my life from now. Like, I'm going to enjoy the beach every day. I'm going to do my gigs at night. I'm going to train girls during the day. It's going to be great. No. That changed real quickly when I noticed that I wasn't going to get gigs that was of the norm of mine, if that makes sense. So most of the gigs that I was getting at first were club appearances. So I would appear at a club, get paid a certain amount to, just sit there and look pretty, I guess you would say. But then I'm always the observant one in the room. I'm never the girl throwing back drinks. I'm always watching and making sure everyone else around me is okay. And I just noticed that there were a lot of people in that club that weren't there for a good reason. The first night I worked a gig, a girl got drugged and drug halfway across the state. It's just it's dangerous whenever you're in an environment that isn't safe. I didn't really do club appearances back home in Nashville. I would do parties. I would show up at a party for an amount of money, but as far as club appearances, I definitely try to stay away from those unless it's like a big artist or if I have security with me, or it's just like I just have to put my safety first nowadays, which is fine. I do that anyways, but it's just a different lifestyle here. Also, just certain women are in here. I get messages all the time on social media, like looking for white women with big butts or looking for Asian women with skinny legs, or like, it's just like people here tell you exactly what they want. It's not like I want all models to show up and I'm going to pick the best. No, I want to see this type of model. That's it. Like straight line. Or like one day I got on there, it's like models that are 40 plus that are plus size only. And it's just like, I don't know, just very particular down here. And it's very hard to book gigs unless you know someone or you're in the industry or you want to do porn. Like I'm saying, a lot of people do porn down here. And I'm just not interested. So it's just really hard to find the right connections. I think I'm heading in that way. I've met a few fashion designers. Should be walking in the next Miami Swim Week, Fashion Week, if work allows me to. But it's just like you have to meet the right people to get the right connections to succeed in Florida for sure. But I honestly feel like I'm doing great. My first power shoot meetup was this past Saturday. 10 people showed up. That's the best first shoot I've ever had. So I think I'm heading in the right direction.
Tell us about your podcast.
So my podcast, y'all, people are really, I think it's going to be a hit because I'm just so out there. Like, I tried the whole regular podcast thing where I'm like, hi, this is episode 1. Like, we're going to talk about this today. And it's just like, anytime I ever try to write something down and talk about it, it just wasn't natural. So my podcast is kind of different. It's some short segments to where I was just leaving Target and thought about something or ran into somebody and needed to have this talk with myself when I got back to the car. And it's like I have these talks with myself and I feel like other women should hear it to build their confidence. And like, I'm sure most women are going through the same thing I am that are in the age group that I'm in right now. So most of my segments are short and it's just like inspirational quotes or things that I come with off the top of my head. And then there's times where I'm on there for an hour or an hour and a half talking about like my dating life or just life in general. When I first moved here, it's kind of chaotic. I was in Airbnb for the first 2 months, hopping around. So yeah, it's pretty crazy. And then my dating life here has been kind of crazy too, but interesting because I've came across so many different types of men, but they all have the same personality. Most of them. And it's like when you hear my podcast, like these moments like this guy, that guy, you're going to hear some of the same similarities. But recently I discovered that the reason why I'm seeing these similarities is because of myself. So as well as like just like giving inspirational quotes, I'm also, realizing who the hell I am during these podcasts. Like, like I'm not only listening to these podcasts myself, I'm reevaluating and saying, oh, wow, like I'm sitting here trying to preach to these girls when the next podcast I'm sitting here breaking down because this guy said this to me. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's really juicy. Also talking about like some of my past experiences with ex-friends being racist or ex-friends going against me because my modeling career kicked off. It's just really juicy. It's really real. I usually don't post these things on Instagram because I try to keep Instagram business wise. But if you follow me on Snapchat, you've already seen like a preview of how crazy this podcast is going to be. And yeah, I'm a totally different person when I'm not in front of the camera. I'm definitely well-spoken and outspoken, and I speak my mind at all times. I may think I'm right a lot, but I do think about things before I say it. That's something that I have worked on. So, yeah, I'm excited for people to actually get to know me for who I am and just experience like some of the things I go through that make me who I am today.
Are you going to be inviting guests?
Eventually, I let a few of my friends listen to the first episodes, and they wanted to know if I'm going to have some of the guys that I've been talking about appear on the show to like get questions asked, because I guess I'm just being so biased. They think I'm being biased, so they just want to know like the other side of the story from other people. So maybe I'll think about it. But hopefully one day, yes, that's gonna be the plan.
Tell us something about you which not many people know about.
Let's see. Not many people know that I have 4 brothers. Well, most people know I have 4 brothers, but not 1 sister. I usually never say anything about the sister part. It's just my family is just really different growing up. My dad had 3 kids with his ex-wife before he met my mom. So they're a little bit older, I think like 43, 44, 42, and 40, something like that. So we really didn't have a relationship much. So I usually don't talk about them much. But yeah, I have 4 brothers total and 1 sister. And then everyone that knows me knows my little brother, Steven, my older brother, Shamaz, my mother's kids, I like to say. They were basically the brothers I grew up with. So I have a pretty large family in general. I have a lot of cousins. All my cousins have babies. My grandmother had 4 kids. Great grandfather had 22 kids. So it's just like it's crazy in Detroit. It's the fam for sure.
Have you ever had a near-death experience?
Honestly, a couple. I guess you could say the first one was when I was about 16. My mother was at work. I wanted to go to the football game. She was like, no, like you're not riding with your friends to the football game. Anything can happen. So I was like, okay, well, I'll walk to the football game. She's like, okay, well, you better walk. Don't get in the car with anyone else. Literally, like not even an hour after this conversation, we get in a wreck, really bad wreck. The car was turning in front of us, and we were supposed to stop at the red light, but I guess she didn't see it was a red light, and we crashed into the side of the semi truck. So literally, I thought I was dead. When I not woke up, when I came to my senses, I don't know. I just felt like whenever the crash happened, I just saw a bright light, and then it just disappeared, and I couldn't see for a while. So that was very scary. And then I guess in my college days, I was doing a lot of drugs, not anything bad. I don't want to say exactly what I was doing, but I was doing drugs and woke up one morning after a party in a random McDonald's parking lot with my car on. But I guess I'm blessed that, I made it to a parking lot, but at the same time, I couldn't remember anything I did the night before. So it's just like, I honestly felt dead, but I guess I wasn't. But yeah. The most life-changing decision I've ever made was leaving my ex that was in the military, for sure. I think that was like the turning point of like my adulthood, because I was so used to accepting somebody for who they are just because I was just so accepting. I'm like, okay, well, he has this many problems, but maybe I can help him with those problems. Maybe I can assist him and finding help. But honestly, leaving him literally taught me that, I can't take care of everybody. I can't fix everyone's problems. I can't understand where everyone's coming from, because at the end of the day, I'm the only me and they're the only them. Like, you can't change someone mentally, if that makes sense. So being able to leave a situation that I was involved with for 3 years was definitely hard, but it honestly gave me so much strength to like believe that, I can live without another person. A lot of people think that they have to be in a relationship. That was me. Like ever since I was 17, I was in a relationship until recently, like a year ago. So just being able to like be on my own and just like be happy, I guess you could say, was a big life lesson for me. It was, especially after my dad passed, it was just like, okay, so like I'm really alone now, like really alone. So it was definitely breathtaking for me.
Do you have any regrets in life? Not doing as much, if that makes sense.
growing up, I was always told that I could only play one sport. So I always had to pick like which one I wanted to do. And then watching my little brother be able to do like 3 sports at a time, I'm like, oh, well, like maybe if that was more of a like normal thing, because back when I was a kid, like not many kids knew how to do multiple sports, or many kids wasn't good at multiple sports. So my parents was just like, hey, we're not about to spend $500 for every sport every year, so just pick one sport. But I feel like if I was able to do more than one sport at a time, maybe I would have went to college playing a sport. But I kind of gave up in high school and was just like, hey, I just want to be popular. I'm just going to join a dance team. So, and then stopped dancing immediately after high school. So yeah, I learned my lesson.
What motivates you these days?
What motivates me? I guess you could say my family, mostly my dad though. I don't know, he's like my best friend, so losing him at such a young age, even though I knew he had cancer, was kind of, not traumatizing, it just hurt me a lot. So just being able to like, I don't know, everyone has their different views, but I feel like my dad's watching me right now, so just like, being able to like make him happy and like show him that like I'm able to like live life without him, and like being able to like do all these things by myself, it just motivates me.
He's watching you. What would you say to him?
I guess I would say like, I don't know, like remember all those times everyone said I couldn't do it? Like, look at me now. Like back then, like my mom had no interest in my modeling career at all. I guess because like being a bikini model, you have to show your body a lot, I guess. And like not everyone thinks being in a bikini 24/7 or like posting pictures in a bikini is very classy. So she really didn't understand the modeling world at first, but now she sees how how happy it makes me and how much it's helping me grow. Like not only did my modeling career help me create my clothing line, but also helped me, you know, become a coach and mentor for all these women across the United States. I'm hosting all these events in different states, and it's just like, you never know, like, it just depends on what makes people happy. Like she had to learn what made me happy in order for her to be happy with what I'm doing, if that makes sense. Now she's very supportive. She's texted me before shoots telling me I had good luck, and you know, I don't know, she's very supportive. She's very happy with what I'm doing and hangs my magazines up all the time. So yeah, it's definitely different now. So but definitely, hi Mom. My dad back then was like literally the only one like supporting me and telling me to keep going, and yeah, he definitely believed in me a lot more than everyone else did back then.
What's a common misconception about you?
Probably that like I'm rude. I don't think I'm rude. I just think I'm straightforward, and like I said, because of all the things that I've been through, whether it's with a photographer or a man in general, I just cut to the chase. Like whether it's my dating life or business life. Like my dating life, I'm going to straight up tell the guy what I want and don't want. With my business life, I'm going to give you a list of things to do. If you don't do it, I'm going to be on your ass because you didn't do it. Because I learned in this industry, if you don't stay to your word and if you don't work for what you want, you're not going to get it. So I understand when people say I'm rude, but I'm rude for a reason. If I am rude, I want to see everyone succeed, and I'd rather do it quickly than, you know, take our time going over things. It's just like with losing weight. You can't sit there and say you want to lose weight, but don't go to the gym or don't work out. Let's get to it. Why beat around the bush and baby people? It's 2021. I don't have any babies. We're all adults. Either we can have a simple conversation or we can't. Like, and if we can't, we're probably not on the same level. So, I mean, I'm not really rude. I'm a really nice person. I'm very loving. I love a lot of people. And I think that's why I have the clients that I do. I think that's why people connect with me when they meet me in person and understand me more than a text message, because, you know, that's just two different situations. What gives me a peace of mind? A few things, honestly. If I'm being just like in general, I would say, or something simple would be like just a beach trip. I love sitting on the beach and relaxing. Another thing would be just for me to be busy at all times. A lot of people are saying, no, you need a break. And I'm like, no, like my brain is literally always working, whether it's from my clothing line or to like the models that I coach, or like my modeling career or my nanny life. I just like being busy. I like feeling like I'm improving in myself, or I like to feel like I'm influencing someone else or helping in some way, accomplishing things. So I'm a big accomplisher.
We'll give you a ticket anywhere in the world, anywhere you want, anywhere you tell us. We'll give you a ticket. Where would you choose?
I'm going to Bali. I've always had dreams of going there. Yeah, Bali for sure. It'll be my first place I would choose. It's just so tropical, so refreshing. I just feel like I would be at peace there. Like, you know, like a getaway to work on some things and then be alone. Like, I would love to go there.
What is a sign that someone is a genuinely good person?
A sign that someone is a generally good person is when they don't worry about money much. I've met a lot of people who either like want me to like buy something or send them something or like do something with money in order for me to meet up with them. I don't know. It's just like, I'm talking like photographer wise or model wise, like everyone's out looking for money. But if we find someone that's really real, they're not going to worry about money much. It's going to be about the experience and like the conversation and the time that y'all spend together or what y'all do together. So yeah, I would love to have like certain things. Like I've always told myself I'm going to have a farm back in Tennessee. I want to have like this big house that I want to have for my family in the future. But like right now, that's not my main goal. Right now, my goal is to, you know, hit those, I guess you could say, hit the minor goals that I have, like within my modeling career, nannying, coaching. There's certain goals that I want to hit right now while I'm in my younger days. But then eventually, like, money's not really going to matter. I mean, you kind of have to have money now to live, like rent, medical bills, medical insurance, car insurance, like all these things kind of make us have to be like money self-centered. But eventually I don't want to be dependent on money or be, I'm never going to be a model all the time. I'm pretty sure I'm going to be done at 35, 40, but yeah, I'm just enjoying the moment right now. My superpower is that I'm very mother-like. Like I take my nannying seriously. I'm a great nanny. I'm a great organizer. I solve problems. It's just like I'm a great leader, I guess you could say. My superpower is being a leader. Yeah, it just feels, and when I try to be a follower, it doesn't work. Being a follower can be a good and bad thing. Just depends on the situation. But yeah, being behind someone and not putting my own thoughts to play is just not my thing. I am very much so a leader.
Are you enjoying life in South Florida?
I am. It's very, very interesting.
Now you can wear a bikini all the time, and
yeah,
your mom can't complain anymore. It's hot here.
When I first moved here, I literally wore one every day because I didn't work full time. So I'm like model mode every day. And my mom's like, "Are you out skating in a bikini?" I'm like, "Yeah, girl. Like I live in a bikini now." And she's like, "Wow, yeah. Like that's exactly what I needed. That's exactly what I wanted." But yeah, Florida's very great. Honestly, I have like I guess one friend, maybe two, so far since I moved here. Yeah, life's great. I'm just learning how to be lonely, like I said, and to be like, I guess, independent. I've never lived out of state by myself. I always lived like in my own house, but never out of state. So all the issues that I come up with, I literally have to figure it out myself. I can't call my brother, or I can't call my mom to come get this bug or lizard that just ran in my house. So yeah, I've learned a lot for sure. Definitely growing quickly too. I just feel like I'm more free here, more accepted. So my journey in South Florida has definitely been rewarding to me. I guess the main reason why I do what I do is to be able to come in contact with other models or other women in general, men too, anywhere in the world. I actually just had a girl in Africa contact me to coach her, which is very exciting. I'm definitely going for it, but it's kind of eye-opening that people actually hear my word, and it's not just like in my state or in my area. People across the world hear me when I talk, and they understand me. So being able to connect with women all over the world is really important to me, and to be able to, you know, hopefully change the modeling industry for the better. It's definitely my goal. So I hope that the team I'm starting to build here in Florida succeeds, which I know we will. And yeah, I hope you guys get to see me on the bigger screens here soon. And yeah.
Well, you're definitely on your way. I really enjoyed this interview. Thank you for coming on. Thank you for telling your story.
Perfect.
I wish you the best in your future endeavors, and carry on enjoying Florida and being cheerful person you are.
Yes.
And keep on growing.
Awesome. Thank you. And thank you for having me. Thank you for believing in me. I don't know if I can say this, but I want to say it. But Damien, the person who's interviewing me for this video, is the first person I met here in Florida, and like literally my only friend. So I'm just very thankful for him and the relationship we have.
Thank you, Tisha. We'll see you again here.
For sure.